welcome back to a brand new episode of NH Unscripted. We are your Temptation Eyes. That makes me your grassroots-like host, Ray Dudley. Yeah, coming to you from the Car 54-like digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. I'm almost like Tootie Muldoon. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, that's for the old folks anyway. You know the routine. I got my Nehru jacket on, my bell-bottom pants, my platform shoes. Sit back on your waterbeds, fire up the lava lamps, light the incense, baby, because we are trucking on today. Break out your transistor radios. You poor kids got the 8 transistors. The rich kids all got the 16. Fire them up, 1450 AM, 103.9 FM in Concord, 101.9 FM for the beautiful souls in Manchester. And yeah, we got a URL, nhtalkradio.com. I'll give you some more history of what's going on out there in a little while. I first need to thank my sponsor. That would be the law offices of ShaheenGordon.com. That's their URL, ShaheenGordon.com. You know what I've said to you before. At some point, you stay on this earth long enough, either you or somebody you know is going to need a good attorney. Trust me on that. You can take that one to the bank. So get out your pencil. You want to write this down, put it on your refrigerator, stick it with your legal papers. ShaheenGordon.com is their URL. 603-614-5560 is their phone number, and they do it all. I mean all. It's extremely encompassing. Unfortunately, yes, they do divorce. Unfortunately, yes, they do child custody and child support, but that's just some of the stuff. Car accidents, personal injury. Dude, if you're injured on a ski slope, yeah, they'll help you out there too. I'm telling you, they do it all. They have offices in Concord, Dover, Manchester, Nashua, Peterborough, and I hear maybe even Keene. Yeah, ShaheenGordon.com, because everybody, and I mean everybody, should know a good lawyer. No, there's a joke in there somewhere, but I'm not going there. In the house with me today, and I'm so glad we finally got to meet, is Brendon Fox, the artistic director of the Peterborough Players. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, dude, you're welcome. You're welcome. Why don't we start off with a little bit of history? Where are you from? How do you qualify to be an artistic director out there in the woods
right.
of Peterborough?
Well, it's a great question. Let's start with I was born in Chicago, raised in Connecticut, and I've spent the majority of my childhood, early adulthood in New England. Learned to ski around the New Hampshire, Vermont region.
You need a good attorney. I know one.
So far, not needing it. All safe. But I'm a New England boy at heart. And since leaving for college, I went to Northwestern. And then beyond that, I've worked pretty much everywhere around the country at some point except for the Pacific Northwest. And now it's bringing me back full circle back to New England. My wife, Dr. Kate Moncrief, is the head of Humanities and Arts at Worcester Polytechnic Institute. Right?
That's impressive.
It is impressive. She's a big deal, and that's what brought us back to New England.
She's not looking down on you, is she?
No, not at all.
Right, don't let her.
No, we've got a great partnership, and we actually get to work on theater as well together. We met in Maryland, and then when she got the job in Worcester, that brought us back to New England. And a lot of my family is still in Connecticut, so this job really was beautifully fortuitous. I had been looking for the right fit. I've been an artistic director and an associate artistic director before around the country at various places, and I was looking for something like that again. And this feels like the location, the fact that the Peterborough Players has been around for over 90 years.
No kidding.
It's one of the most prestigious and wonderful places to work in the summer season. They do 5 shows every summer, and many of the actors are in repertory, playing more than one role. I love that. I've done that as a director myself. It's like the decathlon of directing to do that. And the people I met when I was applying for the job were just wonderful folks. So, I have a background in directing, producing, writing, arts administration. And this felt like the right fit. When I started to apply over a year ago, all the people I met around town in Peterborough, the people on the board, on the staff, we're all just great folks.
Dude, it is such the quintessential summer stock theater, right?
For sure.
It's tucked out there in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
I mean, you got to be going there to go there.
Yes.
But it's so New England. It's typical New England summer stock.
It is. And Peterborough also, for those who may or may not know, is also home for the McDowell Colony, one of the most prestigious writers' colonies in the country, right down the street from us. And many people believe that Thornton Wilder based our town on Peterborough.
No kidding.
So talk about deep cut New England. It's and of course there's been many productions of our town at the Players over the decades. But yes, it's tucked away. Former barn, still the same bones now with AC and better seating and lighting and such. But it's still in that same location, and it has such deep roots in the community and beyond. And I joined last fall, and I'm just thrilled to be a part of it. Coming up is my first season as artistic director.
Oh, man, no pressure there. Huh?
Nope.
Yeah, I'll bet. Tell me, where did you get the hook or your love for theater? When did that happen? Early on or just like later in life?
No,
Not that you're like 70.
No, it's such a great question. I think for me, I was very fortunate. My parents took me and my brother into the city. We were on the Metro North train line into New York. So I got exposed to see shows at Radio City Music Hall and shows all over New York. And I had the ability to see a variety of things at an early age. And I loved it. And I was kind of fascinated by it. But I wasn't sure if that was my path, but I knew it was taking up a lot of bandwidth. I would read the New York Times Arts and Leisure section every week, And then I think it was in middle school, junior high school, some friends and I decided to start to audition for some plays. And I got to tell you, the thing I loved about doing those plays, you know how in middle school, everything's so segmented. Seventh graders don't talk to eighth graders and ninth graders, right?
Of course. It's like a union.
Right. Everyone is in their own union. But when I went to rehearsal, we all mixed it together. You could talk to a seventh grade boy, could talk to an eighth grade girl. And if you memorized your lines and you showed up to practice, it became this great melting pot. And it broke down those barriers.
Yeah.
So, of course, it was fun. And it was fun getting the attention. But more than that, I already saw the way that it created these communities. And I think that's where I got hooked.
Yeah, good for you. I got my love in high school for theater as well.
Really?
Yeah. We did the Midsummer Night's Dream. And I'll tell you, there was just something beautiful. And like you say, the jocks were involved in it. The nerds were involved in it. The theater geeks were involved in it. It was fascinating to me.
That's the thing. It's like
it.
It takes all comers. And I think I felt that. I love that you had that experience. And, Shakespeare was near and dear to my heart. I had a fantastic English teacher named Esther Buchel.
Makes all the difference.
Came from Massachusetts, and she turned us on to the comedies of Shakespeare, and we went, oh wow, this is actually fun. And I think it sounds like you did too. You had that experience.
Yeah. It was just fascinating. I just loved it. I loved the response from the audience. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, me too, no doubt. I mean, I don't want to deny that. Yes.
At that point. And then I wanted to see theater everywhere after that, and I did some in college. And anyway, it's not about me.
No, but this is actually what we're doing it for. I mean, I think for folks like you and for folks who just love that experience, because to me, I love movies and TV. I go to see movies in the theater still. I'm one of those 5 people who do it, right? Yeah. So you and me. Yeah. But I also think that for me, live theater there's nothing like it, because you have to be there.
Correct.
And you know this as a performer and as an audience member. When an audience comes together and starts to laugh together at a comedy or gasp at a mystery and a plot twist, that is not the same as sitting at home with Netflix. And that's why I do what I do. Understatement
alert. That is just understated. Yes, there is nothing like live theater, either being on the stage or watching a performance. There's nothing. Nothing compares to it.
Right.
Because you're either a voyeur watching something, or if you're lucky, there's a little bit of participation in the humor part of it. Right?
Well, it's funny you should say that, because when we get to talking about the season at some point, one of our shows actually is going to have some particular audience participation.
What?
So, yeah.
Take a look at this. Oh, I see.
It's our musical 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee actually has some audience participation
I see that
involved.
Right there. All right, we're going to chat about that. So you are the artistic director. For folks who have no idea what that is, what that entails, why don't you briefly give us an overview of what is that?
Sure.
All right, hang on, stuck right there. Good grief. You are listening to NH Unscripted, where there ain't no mountain high enough. I am your Marvin Gaye-like host, Ray Dudley. We are coming to you from the honeymooners like digs of the WKXL studios in Concord, 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on your transistor radios, 101.9 FM for the beautiful souls in Manchester. NHTalkRadio.com is our URL. Brendon Fox, artistic director, out there at the Peterborough Players, is in the house. We'll get some more info from him in just 1 second. Welcome back, you lucky listener, to NH Unscripted, where we ain't too proud to beg. That makes me your Temptations-like host, Ray Dudley. We are coming to you from the Gong Show-like digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. And no, I am not the unknown comic. That's for you older folks who get that reference. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM in Concord, 101.9 FM for the beautiful souls in Manchester. All that you can listen to on your Sony who knows what the plural is. I don't even think there's such a thing. Anyway, I'm talking with Brendon Fox from the Peterborough Players, and I was asking him, he's the artistic director out there, and a lot of us are going to go, so what the heck is that? So, sir, fire away. What do you do?
Sure. Artistic director, there are some things that are the same no matter how big or small the theater is. But I would say at its heart, a couple of things an artistic director does. First, I work primarily with our board of directors and our amazing staff to keep the shows running, keep the theater afloat, and working with Tori Zhiski, my amazing managing director, who started with me last fall. And one of the things I do is help curate and select the season of plays.
You do.
Yes. So I'm out there seeing shows, I'm reading plays and musicals, and I'm trying to put together what I call the menu, because I want every dish to have its own taste and not duplicate what came before. So finding the plays that fit together, finding the plays that would be exciting for the community. So that's part of it. Another part is outreach and what I call development, getting out there and connecting with the community.
You're the face.
I am. I mean, I think absolutely. Last fall when I first started, I really hit the ground running, and along with our help from our board members, to get out there, and I was able to meet with folks. People had me in their homes. I went to the cafes and I went to the restaurants and spoke in the community centers. And I'm going to be talking to the Women's Club of next week in Hancock, and we're out there being the face of the theater and helping people see that the Players is for everybody. Yeah. So it's both, what are we doing? How do we get the word out there? I work on that in terms of fundraising. I also do all the auditions. So
you do?
Oh, yes. Yep. I work with a casting director in New York City.
Yeah.
But I've also this past winter spent many hours doing local and regional auditions that we held in Peterborough for actors as far away as Boston and beyond. And then I also spent a couple of days in New York City with our casting director to add to our pool of actors that we are considering. Because one of the things people may or may not know about the Players is it's one of the few theaters left that does true repertory. Mm-hmm. And for those folks who don't know what that is, it means that the majority of the actors we hire this summer will be doing more than one role. That used to be much more prevalent in what they called the straw hat circuit, where in the 50s, 60s, 70s, early 80s, a lot of actors we know today, all the way including Al Pacino and others, Meryl Streep, cut their teeth doing multiple shows back to back, sometimes 2 or 3 shows in a week. We are still doing that. What that means is you have to find chameleons, actors who are not able to do farce and then the next day turn around and do noir, and the next day they can do a musical. So we've created these what I call tracks of actors who are going to be doing one show and then they can turn around and do the next show, 1 and 2. Some come in later in the season. But finding that repertory band of actors who are not there for the whole summer but will be there over multiple shows, that requires a lot of time and effort to find those actors. But I think we found them. We're about 98% cast at this point.
You are.
We have an extraordinary group of actors coming in who have worked all over the country, some of them internationally. They're really excited because Peterborough Players has a great reputation. You know, I learned this when I did auditions, both locally and in New York, where actors and agents would say, "Oh yeah, my client wanted to work there for years."
What?
And so the word is out. People across the country, we have
I thought it was this hidden secret.
Well, you know, it's a hidden secret until people find out, and then they're hooked. And we have actors who are coming back after decades of working at the Players. So we have some new folks who are going to be hopefully new favorites, as well as some alumni.
Man, okay, before we get too deep, please give me the URL and maybe a phone number or something for people to go look at.
It would be my pleasure. So our URL for Peterborough Players is pretty simple. It's www.peterboroughplayers.org, peterboroughplayers.org, and the best phone number is 603-924-7585. That's reaching the staff. That's the box office. All of it. Those are your two great ways to get in touch with us. Our website gives you deep dives into all 5 shows. It gives you ways to donate and buy tickets and find out more of. We got a gala coming up in May called Curtains Up. That's going to be on May 10th. That's open to everyone. It's going to be songs. There's going to be
it's like a
food.
Review? Like a musical review?
Well, it's a mix. Yeah, it's a mix of different songs, great food. It's half play, half party. And
wait, you have food there as well?
Oh yeah, there's going to be amazing food at this Curtains Up. It's May 10th. You got to come and get tickets because people who come made it their mission to come every year. We might have some local high school students singing songs from musicals that they've been working on.
That's such a great hook.
So it's a way to communicate with the whole community. So
hook.
Yeah.
I want to back up just a little bit if you don't mind.
Please.
Are you directing any of the 5 shows this year?
I am. I'm directing the first and the last. Can I tell you what they are?
Absolutely, yes.
So first up, we've got a wonderful farce called Boeing. That's Boeing, like the jet. Set in the swinging 60s. It's set in a Paris apartment about an American, Bernard, who has his friend Robert visiting, and he tells his friend all about these 3 airline stewardesses that he's dating, 3 different airlines, one from America, one from Italy, one from Germany.
What could possibly happen?
Exactly. And then he knows their schedules. What could go wrong? Except all their schedules change on the day of the play.
Of course.
So that's a lot of fun. And plus there's the acerbic French housekeeper that you need in every farce, who's basically doing all the snarky commenting on the side. I'll be directing that. That's first up. Next up is a new adaptation of Dial M for Murder, the Alfred Hitchcock classic. This adaptation is by Jeffrey Hatcher, who also adapted the play Tuesdays with Morrie. That's been very popular. We did that at the Players. Been done all over the country. This Dial M for Murder is really thrilling. It all takes place in the apartment, and it's a tale of mystery and lies and paranoia as this woman, Margot, is trying to figure out, is her husband cheating on her? Is he out to kill her? How is she going to figure out what the truth
classic.
is?
I haven't seen a performance of that since probably the 80s.
Yeah. And it really holds up.
Yeah.
And this new adaptation is being done all over the country.
Nice.
Third slot up is our musical, the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, music by William Finn, lyrics by Rachel Schenken. William Finn also did the great musical Falsettos that got many Tony Awards. This musical, Spelling Bee, also got a number of Tony Awards. It's set in a fictional high school, junior middle school, and it's the adult actors play the prepubescent kids, all competing to win the prize of top speller.
It's hysterical.
And over the course of the show, they also sing out in these little monologue songs, so we get to hear their inner thoughts. And here's the fun twist. every performance, we will take 4 volunteer audience members to be spellers alongside.
Seriously?
Yes. So they can sign up ahead of time online. They all could sign up even that day in the lobby. And then they will be up there for the first half or so of the musical, getting harder and harder words. And they don't know what words are coming. And it's going to be a lot of fun.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And this is baked into the show. So,
man.
And then the 4th show up is a newer play called Native Gardens by Karen Zacharias. Been done all over the country. It's very funny. It's also quite poignant. It's about new neighbors meeting each other, older outside of the suburbs of D.C. Older neighbors have their very well manicured garden and flowers. The husband wants to win Gardener of the Year of his local association, and their new neighbors are a younger couple in their late 20s, and the wife in that couple loves native plants, which the husband of the other couple thinks are weeds. So hijinks ensue. Okay. They all are trying to figure out who's going to be the better gardener, and it really is about connection and empathy and learning to appreciate people who are a little different from you. And then last up is the last show of the season that I'm also directing, Hay Fever, classic by Noel Coward from the 20s. Really? And it really holds up. It's about a crazy family called the Blisses, and it's sort of Arrested Development set in the 20s. Quirky family and all the normal people who are trying to date them. And it really is about sort of every family is quirky in their own way. And it's also got great costumes and music and such. So I'll be doing the first and the last. We've got a great lineup of directors and designers for this. And my theme for the season is community and connection. In our tumultuous times, I think theater is an opportunity to come together in the barn, in the woods, and all of these shows give us a chance to look at each other with new eyes and appreciate each other, and there's so much joy.
Hang on, man, I have questions. Thank God we got 2 more blocks to go. You are listening to NH Unscripted, baby, where we are staying alive. That makes me your BGs-like host, Ray Dudley. We are coming to you from the dating game-like digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM in Concord, 101.9 FM for the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful souls in Manchester. NHTalkRadio.com is our URL, and we're chatting about the Peterborough Players. We will be right back. Welcome back to NH Unscripted. I know you're happy to have gotten out of bed today. There ain't no mountain high enough, and I am therefore your Marvin Gaye-like host, Ray Dudley. We are coming to you from the Taj Mahal-like digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. My God, it's cavernous in here. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on your Sony Walkman. Never mind, you know what it is. 101.9 FM for the beautiful souls in Manchester. We are talking about theater, and there's more than just theater happening out at the Peterborough Players in Peterborough, interestingly enough. So I have so many questions, Brendon. So many questions. Let's talk.
Bring it on.
Okay, let's get the little minutia out of the way. You guys have subscriptions, right?
Yes. So there's lots of options in terms of the subscriptions people want to have. The great thing is, people may not realize this, but every show has 2 weeks to rehearse and 2 weeks to perform, and then it's done.
The pressure's
so
crazy.
I know, but it's really exciting too, because unlike bigger regional theaters where you have longer runs, you get to, if you subscribe, you get to basically experience in 2 months 5 shows, including a musical.
That's insane.
Yeah. So we really want to encourage folks to check out the website, look at the options. There are some that have value packs where you can choose your seat, you can, or if you want the same seat every time, lots of options. But I think it's to go on the ride, to really get the variety. I purposely wanted to have a season that is really eclectic, different tastes on the menu, and this is a chance to do that. If we subscribe, you'll really get to experience and you'll also get to see these actors turn around and be in different roles, as you and I were talking about before our interview, was that it shows off how quickly these actors can change personas and characters. So if you stick around for the whole season, you're going to see your favorite actors come back again and again.
Yeah, no kidding. And so on Instagram, I am constantly amazed at what else happens. I know we're focusing on theater here, but you don't only have theater. I mean, there's opera. I don't even know how that works, but you've got stuff like opera happening. What's going on
So
there?
we have a great series called Arts on Stage, and this is an opportunity. We have partnered with the Met Opera in New York and the National Theatre Live in England. So over the course of the fall through spring, where even though we are not producing our own shows except in the summer, we are a hub for presenting live opera every couple of weeks. So people actually get to go. And there's also opera bites, so that it's catered food that they can purchase and drinks. Wow. They get to experience beautiful live opera performances and some of the best of new work coming straight from London. Some of these shows haven't even made it to the States yet, and you get to see them at our theater. It's really exciting because these are people like last fall we had a one-woman show called Prima Facie with Jodie Comer, who starred in Killing Eve on Netflix. So these are big.
Blonde Girl.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So we have big names, big stars, and it's a chance for people to come to the Barn in the Woods to experience all these other great events.
Is that a popular series?
Yeah, people are showing up from all over. I mean, this is really from all over the region, and we want to encourage people to come check it out because this is their shot to check out some other types of art that's happening, like I said, New York, London, elsewhere. So we want to be able to be a community hub, not just for our own work, but to present others.
Yeah. While I'm on it, because I don't want to forget, please give out the URL again.
Sure, www.peterboroughplayers.org. And the phone number is 603-924-7585.
Okay. I love the theater. It's beautiful. How many people does it seat?
It's just under 300, so there's not a bad seat in the house. It's beautiful, and it's really intimate. Yeah. But also, every show we get to transform the stage, and so we are spanning locations, time periods from the 1920s to the 50s, 60s, all the way up to the modern. We're bringing gardens on stage, and the other great thing is that we're really committed to this summer finding other extra added value events. So, for example, if they go on our website, they'll see that over the course of the summer, we're going to have 3 cabarets that will happen. Wow. This is very popular for folks who have come in the past because we have actors who are going to be acting in shows. They may or may not be in the musical, but they've got musical chops in them, many of them. This gives them a chance kind of late night, right after the show, show up and have a drink and watch them regale you with songs from the golden age of musicals all the way up to modern.
Wow.
So we got 3 of those over the course of the summer. We also will, every show will have at least 1 or 2 talkbacks.
Yep.
So afterwards you can stick around and hear from those who have worked on the shows, more peek behind the curtain. Every show will also have at least 1 or 2 pre-show events. So, for example, for Putnam County Spelling Bee, we're going to have an adult spelling bee. So if you show up an hour or so early, we're going to have some fun. You can win drink tickets.
Seriously?
Get in the mood. Yeah. Oh, so, Native Gardens, we're going to partner and be with some local organizations to talk about gardening tips and such. So this is a way to say we're going to open up the bar earlier and later. So make a night of it.
I have nothing against opening the bar earlier or later.
Nothing wrong with that.
We'll never have an argument here. Let's you and I chat for a second about mechanics and stuff. Besides the theater, when you go and you're looking for talent, are there, first of all, for friends in the area, do you hire local people to fill in at all, or is it all professional?
Well, no, absolutely. We are hiring both union and non-union actors. The nature of our contract, which is called a chorus disease contract, means that depending on the size of the shows that we do, we can hire more or less non-union actors. So, for example, this season, because it's fairly modest, the biggest show we're doing is only 9 or 10 people. It means we only can hire about 2 non-union folks. But that changes from season to season. We also will have a mix of people we're hiring locally, regionally, and beyond. So that's why I do want to stress that we will be doing every winter local auditions. People are always free to email me their headshot and resume, and then we will be doing those live auditions always in January, February to tee up. So yes, it should feel like it's part of the community.
Perfect. As the artistic director, are you one of those who, when you looking at or trying to plan a season, are you thematic about it, or do you, for instance, you did say there was kind of a theme through this one, but is that important to you, or do you just want something that you play to the demographic? I don't even know how to put that, but
no, I know what you mean. Absolutely, it's a great question. I think it's a combination of both. For me, as we all have heard, in the beginning was the word, and it all starts with the script. If the script is great, that way the directors are excited to work on it, actors sink their teeth and do juicy roles, and then audiences get an amazing experience. I've had the experience where I've worked on, for various reasons, less than stellar scripts, and it means that you have to pull more weight. It takes more work to try to make it better than it is on the page for the audience. The audience may be none the wiser, but it's a heavy lift for those to make it better. So to me, my standard is whatever genre it is, if we're going to do a farce, I want it to be one of the best farces out there. Dial M is one of the best mysteries out there. So I don't want to shortchange that. Mediocre scripts means it's harder for everybody. So great scripts across the board. And also, as I start to collect, because I've got lots of options of plays and musicals as I'm thinking about for future seasons. But I do eventually then want to curate it into a theme, like I said, for this summer, of community and connection. So each of these, in their own way, finds the community. The airline stewardesses of Boing Boing find their own common cause on figuring out what the heck's going on. This guy's playing us. We have ways in Spelling Bee of a chance to kind of bring people together to root for these kids to find their place. So I think it's a combination. It's a chance to find the hook that connects all of them, that through line. But it also means I want everyone to come away going, that was the best, smartest musical we've experienced in a while. If we're going to choose a classic play like Noel Coward, I want it to have some real relevancy, because everything should still be why this play, why now. That's why if we're going to do Hay Fever, yes, it's fun to immerse ourselves in the 20s music and the cocktails, but it's also about families are quirky, and that never changes. So I feel like that's important too.
It's funny, years ago when I had seen Dial M for Murder, in that same season for those people, they had also thrown in like Wait Until Dark. They were like the book ending this season.
Sure.
Those were classic things. Dial M for Murder. It may be old, but man, it is really something.
It's got good bones, like they say about houses.
Right,
yes.
Right.
And I think that when it's done right, there's a chance. Also, we have to, the other thing when you ask me what I'm looking at, as I said before, 2 weeks rehearsal. And I know this as a director myself and as a producer, I want to make sure that we can set everyone up for success. So there are plays out there that are amazing, but they might have massive casts or multiple scene changes. And then I think, well, would we be able to do this justice in 2 weeks and give everyone a fair shot at doing a great production? Because that's part of the challenge, but it's a fun challenge.
No, I can imagine it is. Hang on, man, the time is flying. My goodness. You are listening to NH Unscripted, where kicks just keep getting harder to find. I am your Paul Revere and the Raiders-like host, Ray Dudley. We are coming to you from the YMCA-like conditions of the WKXL studios in Concord. I can smell the pool chlorine from here. Anyway, 1450 AM, 103.9 FM for Concord, 101.9 FM for the beautiful souls in Manchester. We are talking Peterborough Players, baby. I'm telling you, you're going to have to get out there. We will be right back. Back to NH Unscripted, where the question of the day is, do you believe in magic? That makes me your loving spoonful-like host, Ray Dudley. We are coming to you from the Hollywood Squares-like digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. I love the center square myself, the old Paul Lynn Square. Not Charlie Weaver. All you old folks get that reference. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM in Concord, 101.9 FM for the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful souls in Manchester. NHTalkRadio.com is our URL. You can go out there. There's a button that you can click, and you can listen to everything that's happening here live. This show happens to come out every Wednesday, Friday mornings at 9 a.m., but you know what? If you go to NHTalkRadio.com, there are archives. I hear there's other shows that take place here at this studio. So you go out there and you can just sit back at 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning and listen to everything that's happening here. Brendon Fox, Artistic Director at the Peterborough Players, is in the house. Sir, give us your URL once again, and then talk a little bit more about subscriptions and all that.
That would be great. Thank you. URL is www.peterboroughplayers.org. And our phone number is 603-924-7585. Perfect.
Now, you're doing other things, and what I really like is that just not there. Are you saying that you're year-round?
Well, we are, exactly. Because between our summer productions, which start in June, wrap up in August, and then the rest of this fall through spring, we're doing Arts on Stage. So every month we've got at least a couple of live operas from the Met in New York City or National Theatre Live coming straight from London.
So you don't go dark at any point?
Pretty much, no.
Wow. So you have something coming up in May, is that correct?
Yes, we've got Curtains Up, our gala, which is really exciting. It's May 10th. Check it out. All the details on our website, and it's a really fun evening of food and songs and prizes. We're gonna have people performing. We got sketches. We might even have a cameo by some local talented high schoolers singing some Broadway tunes. Everything under the sun. So please check that out. It's gonna be super fun.
Curtains Up. That's what it's called.
Curtains Up. May 10th.
All right. For yourself, do you have shows that are in the back of your mind that you would really kind of love to do? That you would love to either, it's a personal preference of yours, or that you think, because it doesn't always work out that way, that the audience would necessarily love them. But there are things that you're hoping you can get staged there in the next few years. There's shows coming out all the time. I mean, who would have thought Betty Boop or whatever?
Right, I know.
But are there things that you have on your docket that you'd like to see come up?
Sure, that's a great question. I think there's a whole slew of them right now that are rattling around in my head, both older plays and newer plays. Obviously, I love plays by Oscar Wilde. I think Importance Being Earnest, Ideal Husband, they're just tried and true, and they're still super funny and sexy and smart and great roles for actors. All the way up through Lauren Gunderson, one of the most produced playwrights in the country that people don't know.
I don't know.
She has a slew of plays. There's a play of hers called Silent Sky that's about a real astronomer who worked at Harvard in the early 20th century, whose work eventually ended up helping build the Hubble telescope. I've done this play in the past. It's beautiful and it's heartwarming, and you will probably see that on the boards in the future. So to me, part of my background is my mentors as previous artistic directors mentoring me when I was a baby director. Their tastes were eclectic and all over the place.
Yeah.
New plays, new musicals, and the classics. They all have something to say to each other. And that's my bent too. So I think the Players is an opportunity to remember why those classics were classic, as well as getting to know some of these playwrights like Karen Zacharias and Lauren Gunderson.
Do you have a personal bent towards, I notice there's nothing here that's like really drama. There's no in this season anyway, that there's nothing here that's like really got them on the edge of their seats as far as, holding their breath. Dial M for murder.
Yeah, Dial M, and I think that there's dramatic elements to Native Gardens. It's a mix of serious and comic. But I do think that this is a moment where I wanted the season to have a lot of joy, a lot of communication, a lot of empathy. But I think in the future, there will definitely be that mix of some dramas more in the mix. If I may, just off to the side, I'm actually currently directing a production of Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing in Worcester. It's at THT Rep, which is connected to the Hanover Theater, and we're right in the middle of rehearsals. We open early April, and I would just encourage folks to also check that out. We're setting it in the 1950s in Italy. Super glamorous, a lot of fun. Maybe even some of those actors might end up being seen at the Players. So.
What?
That's another fun thing.
Do
Between
you
now and
have
then.
information about that as well? A website? And
Yes, if people can check out the Hanover Theater, if they Google hanovertheater.org and THT Repertory, that's where you can get all those details.
Man, you're a busy man.
Try to, you can't hit a moving target.
Your cast, you have, what you said, the largest one is 9? Is that what you said the show?
Hay Fever, we're looking, it's 11. And so it's so we have a nice range. We have the smallest is about 4 up to 11. And I got to say, we also have an incredible group of designers coming in who work for all over the country. Some of them are going to be doing more than one. We have a designer doing sets and lights for the last 2 shows. Someone's doing costumes for the first and last. So these are designers who work all over the country, and they wanted to come spend time at Peterborough because these different time periods are really like catnip for designers. So I feel like between our crack staff coming in, we also have an amazing core company, we're calling them, formerly called our intern company.
Yeah.
Because part of our mission too is education and mentorship. So we have people who were former interns who are now heading up our costume shop, who are working in our scene shop. So that's the other thing too. In the future, if people are interested, people who are early career, in college, heading off to grad school, they should drop us a line too, because we're all about making sure that we build those rungs of the ladder. That's how I started, and it's a chance to pay it forward. So I would say we've assembled the Avengers of American Theater coming up this summer.
Great tie-in.
Everybody's going to be there. You don't want to miss out.
When you are selecting, let's say, a director,
Yeah.
what are you looking for there? Are they approaching you and saying, I'd like to direct here at Peterborough? Or do you go out and find one that you're like, well, we think we'd like to have them here? How's that working?
It's a great question, and it's both. I am approached by directors all the time, just like I used to do when I'm a freelance director, wanting to work at the players, and they pitch themselves. In the case of these plays, it's a mix. So, for example, Melissa Crespo, who's directing Native Gardens, she's also the associate artistic director at Syracuse Stage. She has done Native Gardens in the past at 3 different cities, so she gets to have a new take on a play that she's known before. Jen Weinman, who's directing our musical Spelling Bee, hasn't directed it before, but she has incredible background in musicals, new and older. I've seen her work. She's extraordinary. So much fun. Really is going to bring a lot of life and humor to this. She's so jazzed to work on Spelling Bee. And then Laura Kepley, who used to run Cleveland Playhouse, big heavy hitter. Man. She's now freelancing. She's directing Dial M, has always wanted to do it. Great relationships with actors. And she and I actually have known each other for a couple of decades. So I think I've got a great stable of directors. And these are directors actors and designers want to work with too. So that's another thing.
Does help.
Right? If you get
You're going to be close with them anyway.
Exactly. And it's a chance for it's more attractive for the actors and designers to spend a little time with these incredible directors who have to work fast, come in with a bold vision, open the show, and get out.
A little bit of inside baseball here, so folks, just kind of sit back a second because I always like to find these things out. Do you guys have live? Do you have an orchestra pit, or do you use tracks?
We have a pit. Yes, I'm so glad you mentioned that because more and more theaters are turning to tracks, which I understand for financial reasons. But we do have a pit. I saw this beautiful production of Man of La Mancha last summer at the Players, directed by Chuck Morey, who was the interim artistic director, with Scott Bakula and his wife. It was wonderful.
What?
I know, right? And part of the power of that production was the live music, the live pit. We're going to do that same thing for Spelling Bee.
You are a dying breed.
Right? But it makes such a difference because you feel it in your bones. It's not tinny tracks coming at you. And again, no love lost for other theaters making their choices. But for us, that was one of the questions I asked when I applied for the job. And I was thrilled to hear, yes, we do have live musicians. We have our conductor. We have a music director. It's going to happen for Spelling Bee again this year. So
I'm so glad you said that. And again, this is inside baseball, and I hope we're not boring people. But there's certain things that you can do with a lot. Let's say you need to vamp. You've got a beautiful music number.
Yes.
I was online. I got stuck on a rabbit hole on YouTube. I was watching things from My Fair Lady from years ago. No! Dang it! All right, Brendon, please give out the URL and phone number again.
Of course, www.peterboroughplayers.org. And it's been wonderful to be here with you all, and we can't wait to see you there. Please check out our website. The number is 603-924-7585. Subscriptions are ready to be purchased now.
Yeah, here comes that rainy day feeling again. Oh, I am your Fortunes Like host, Ray Dudley. You have been listening to NH Unscripted. Dag nabbit! 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on your Sony Walkman in Concord, 101.9 FM for the beautiful souls in Manchester. NHTalkRadio.com is the URL. Please make it your mission this year to get out to the Peterborough players. You will not regret it, I promise you. All right. Yeah.